Enron was one of the biggest frauds in American business history. But have you ever wondered what would it have looked like if it were 10 times bigger and run by a clown?
Go back and forth, Nate.
If to solve sustainable energy, we have to have a pickup truck. So I present to you the Cybertruck.
So I can go right.
And to prove that wrong, I'm going to put my finger completely flat against the Cybertruck this time.
You believe in Elon or you don't? This is it. This is where you got to throw down.
Finger flat right here and see what happens. Ready?
It really is the most. I think it's our best product.
Okay, I can't even move my finger right now. I might have actually broken it. Look at how bad that puncture is.
And one thing I am confident of saying is that it's an incredible product. It's a Hall of Famer, I think. Yeah.
Plagued with a very serious issue where the accelerator pedal can come off and get lodged up in the floorboard, causing the vehicle to be pressed down to 100% acceleration.
So it looks like there was a bolt here, and the bolt just came undone, just vibrated out.
At here at Tesla, we have the finest in apocalypse technology.
And it went all the way here, and now it's totally bent right there. All bent up.
How tough is your truck?
That's crazy. But the question is, how did it happen? How did it happen?
At this point, I think I know more about manufacturing than anyone currently alive on Earth.
Franz, could you try to break this glass, please? Oh my fucking God. Well, maybe that was a little too hard.
I would literally take a bullet for Elon. What Elon is doing is more important for the future of my children than anything I'm doing.
Oh man, it didn't go through.
Elon is doing more for the planet than more for my children. Just for what he's doing more for my children than I am.
It can obliterate a child's arm?
We have a car here that experts said was impossible. That experts said would never be made.
You're looking at the company and you look at all the improvements that are happening. When people say, "Oh, everything's on fire," like, well, what am I missing? Things are going really well. I don't know if you're watching what the company does.
Yeah, I mean, we dug our own grave with Cybertruck.
I think it's our best product.
Everybody digs their grave better than themselves.
Cybertruck, the $100,000 truck whose warranty can be voided if you take it to a car wash. And don't put it in car wash mode. Or a truck that you shouldn't wash in the sunlight. Which is maybe why the delivery event was conducted at night.
Make sure that whatever you're doing is a great product or service. It has to be really great.
I turned off-road mode on while parked in a parking lot. After a few minutes, I heard a pop and the suspension lowered. I couldn't even off-road in a parking lot.
But if you're entering anything where there's an existing marketplace against large entrenched competitors.
Trucks have been the same for a very long time. Like 100 years.
Your product or service needs to be much better than theirs. It can't be a little bit better.
Tesla is saying it will take a month to fix. Please help. Only had the Cybertruck for a week. Had the Cybertruck for 4 days and then this part blew off on the highway and I can't find it. On the way home after purchasing my Cybertruck, the window cracked. It looks like a manufacturing defect, yet the service center wants to charge me $2,300. My Flagstaff charger was having issues staying on and now it bricked my Cybertruck. Can't get in, no power.
Because then you put yourself in the shoes of the consumer and they say, why would you buy it as a consumer? You're always going to buy the trusted brand unless there's a big difference.
Wait, there's more. This one was completely bricked after 4 days of ownership. This one broke down after driving off the lot and driving only 35 miles and then had to be picked up and towed back to the service center. Day one, and I already need a new high voltage battery.
So a lot of times an entrepreneur will come up with something which is only slightly better. And it can't just be slightly better. It's got to be a lot better.
So I hear you ask, how is this going to end up 10 times worse than Enron, which was at the time the largest bankruptcy in American history, made possible by one of the biggest accounting frauds in American history? Reading from the wiki page on the Elon scandal, With poor financial reporting, they were able to hide billions of dollars of debt from failed deals and projects. And the second Musk heard that, he said, "Hold my ketamine."
What I can say is we're going to move to just truly massive scale. Scale that no company has ever achieved in the history of humanity.
You see, the first sign of death throes from a company is when the people in charge of it, the people who know what it's really like under the hood, not a sugar pie and candy public image, when they start trying to take as much out of the company.
It's not about how much stock you have. It's about how much copper wire you can get out of the building with. Guys!
When they start trying to take as much out of the company as they can before everyone else realizes it's worthless.
And you're selling something that you know has no value.
We are selling to willing buyers at the current fair market price.
Like Robin Denholm, technically the head of Tesla, who sold some $50 million of Tesla stock this year. You know, when Tesla is almost at record low stock price. You know, because why would you hold on to stock at its record low if you still know it's got a long way to fall yet? And just so we're clear on scale, Enron went from being one of the most profitable energy companies around to being worth essentially zero in about 6 months, losing around $70 billion of market cap. Tesla has already lost 10 times that amount from its peak to its value now. And that's when the chair of the company decides now's a really good time to start offloading Tesla stock. Yeah, it's kind of like they know something. Or the vice president who quit and believed so much in the stock that he cashed out every single Tesla stock that he had for some $180 million. Seems like someone knew that that wasn't a good place to have their money invested. And I'm thinking maybe I was way too generous when I said 3 years till bankruptcy for Tesla. And what's this? Tesla under investigation for security and wire fraud in relation to full self-driving.
Relatively easy, and like a Model S and Model X at this point can drive autonomously with greater safety than a person right now. So I wrote software for like 15 years, 20 years. I know what we need to solve to make full self-driving feature complete. I'm certain that we will get this done this year. Feature complete for full self-driving this year with certainty. This is something that we control, and I manage autopilot engineering directly every week in detail. So I'm certain of this. Or a finance person or something like that. I'm an engineer. I do engineering.
The Musk fans who laughed at me when I said last year that it would be less than 5 years till Musk goes down as the guy who is single-handedly responsible for the greatest destruction of wealth in history.
Imagine how much it hurts me to use the word infallible.
Oh, come on, nobody's infallible.
All right, then he's not infallible. It's just that up to now, he has never failed.
Yeah, I think I've earned the right to cover the Titanic sinking here.
From this moment, no matter what we do, Titanic will founder.
Being the one who first called it when everything looked calm, and Musk was the richest man in the world. And all the Musk fans were like,
"But this ship can't sink. She's made of iron, sir. I assure you, she can."
And now it looks like the finances have already hit the fan. And it's more like, 5 years, they'll be lucky to make 2. The rats are already fleeing the sinking ship, and the fetid smell of carrion is filling the air. But it all pales into insignificance compared to the guy who knows more about selling Tesla stock than anyone currently alive on Earth. Elon Musk, who at the peak of the bubble cashed out some $40 billion of Tesla stock. That's just not something you do if you believe that the stock is going to be worth more in the future than it is now. You know, if you actually believed it was a good investment. Even more so, seeing as Musk personally gave his guarantee, like that was ever worth anything, but he gave his guarantee that he would never sell the stock.
Billionaire entrepreneur Elon Musk puts his money where his mouth is.
I am personally guaranteeing that value and standing behind that guarantee with all of my assets.
Just like his money was the first in, it would be the last out. By which, of course, he meant he was going to sell more Tesla stock than anyone in history.
I'm personally guaranteeing that value.
And now things are going so badly at Tesla that the layoffs have gone from looking like 10% to 20%, and now they're laying off the entire supercharger team. Apparently because Musk wanted to make a point about how serious he was at cost cutting, while simultaneously asking for a bonus 5 times larger than the wages of the entire company put together. You know, so they can give the guy who has sold more Tesla stock than anyone in history more Tesla land fund dollars to sell. You know, to anyone who actually believes this monopoly money is real. But wait, the woman who just offloaded $50 million of Tesla stock now has a video out saying to the rest of the stockholders that they should approve Musk's pay deal. Because Musk can't sell these shares that they're giving him for at least 5 years.
Elon is required to hold any shares acquired through the award for 5 additional years after the option is exercised.
Actually, let me just explain the weasel words here. Musk already pledged to the stockholders that just like his money was the first in, it would be the last out. All of a sudden saying that he won't sell the new shares that they give him for at least 5 years seems a little bit suspect. You see, Musk used to own about 20% of Tesla, and he sold about half of that. Now, this pay deal is they want to give him another 10% of Tesla, and his proof that he is serious is he won't sell new stuff that they've given him for 5 years, meaning that he is free to sell the rest of his Tesla stock whenever he wants. Oh yeah, and did I mention that this impartial advice was brought to you by someone who has this year sold $50 million of Tesla stock?
The 5-year clock has not even started yet, which means Elon is incentivized to drive the same growth that we've seen over the past 5 years for many years to come.
And for this, Musk wants $56 billion just to keep him interested. And in an act of almost cartoonish villainy, this is after Musk cancelled the merit-based awards for everyone else at the company. Wow, seems like Musk doesn't think that workers can be incentivized by a bonus. But not him, of course. No, for Musk, it's only the little people for who equality is a crucial part of workers' pay. He still wants his $56 billion bonus because that's the only thing that could motivate him.
And what I see all over the place is people who care about looking good while doing evil. F them. Okay?
Hey, Tesla, here's a thought. Why not just fire one guy? Now, hear me out here. Rather than giving a bonus larger than the salaries of all the employees put together to motivate one person, why don't we fire that one person and then try and motivate the rest of the company by splitting that bonus up among them? Maybe equally, because as Musk said, equality is a crucial part of workers' pay. Comrade. Such that now your average Tesla employee would get something like, I don't know, $50,000, $100,000 base salary, whatever they're getting at the moment. Then they would get an optional $500,000 stock bonus to help motivate them. That seems like a fairly hefty incentive for the workforce, all for firing one guy who clearly doesn't believe in the company. And whilst there are some signs that some of the stockholders are waking up and sort of realizing just how stupid this pay package is, you also have to appreciate for a large number of Tesla shareholders, Tesla isn't so much of a meme stock as it is a cult.
But seriously, like, I will throw myself in front of anything for Elon. I am a true believer. You believe in Elon or you don't. This is it. This is where you got to throw down. You either support Elon or you don't. Don't half-ass it.
And with the Tesla stock currently at about $170 and falling, what does this guy think it's actually worth?
All right, what do I think the stock is worth today, which my number is way over $1,000 a share. You get to $4,000 a share. Has it overshot what I think the stock is worth today? Because I think it's going to $10,000 a share down the road, right?
So he sat there looking at his Tesla land fund bucks and imagining, what if it was worth 500% more than delusional crazies like me will pay for it? Oh, but no, what if it's even 10 times higher than that? Yeah, this is taking it just a little bit more seriously than a meme stock. But the simple reality is, Musk might have already fatally wounded Tesla. You see, the word decimate comes from an old Roman army punishment for disobedience, where the disobedient group was ordered to kill 10% of their own as a punishment. Now, a fat man can lose 10% of his weight perfectly fine by carefully dieting. However, if he elects to lose 10% of his weight by cutting off his head, he won't be so fine. Musk's plan for reducing the workforce seems to have been absent plan. And then, to make matters worse, he just randomly decapitated one of the company's biggest selling points.
It looks like Tesla has eliminated, as you said, almost its entire supercharger team. It's a 500-strong team in charge of rolling out its supercharger network across the US, including its senior director, Rebecca Tanucci.
Shall we decimate them? That sounds good. Nice word. Decimate.
These are on top of the 10% company-wide staff cuts that Musk ordered up last month.
And then, having done that, has proceeded to say, okay, let's decimate the company again.
Remove 110.
And he's still not finished. Companies that actually make stuff can't just do this. It takes time to get the right people into the right job with the right knowledge base and training. For example, John is not an extremely hardcore worker, but does know how to fix a MacGuffin in the factory. John is fired for not being extremely hardcore enough, and the MacGuffin breaks.
Fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it, fix it. Fix it, fix it, fix it.
And no one can fix the MacGuffin, causing millions of dollars of damage because the knowledge to fix the MacGuffin has been lost from the company. Musk's beast mode might have already put Tesla into a decapitated chicken mode. The company might already be the Walking Dead from this alone. And all that's really left is for the body to stop twitching.
End of line, man.
So where does any of this turn into? Fraud and Elon Musk? Well, curiously, this week, one of the founders of Facebook actually said that Tesla was going down like Enron, and that they've misled consumers on a massive scale, lying about full self-driving, inflating the range of their vehicles, and unconfirmed that they inflated odometers. You know, probably to make the vehicle sound more reliable or something. Many times now, security fraud, he said. Now, of course, Musk was straight on top of the numbers as a disciplined professional and published a detailed response debunking all of the accusations. Now, he posted this meme. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the CEO and CTO of the company responsible for building the spacecraft to take Americans from lunar orbit and land them on the surface of the moon. No, he's working really hard.
Because I have to triage the things that I do at each company, and constantly think about what is the most useful thing that I could do.
Okay, Elon, I know you work really hard, so just show us how badly your suit fits, okay? Oh, that's good, right. Now, can you do the same thing but make a face like you're getting a prostate exam? Okay, that's great, Elon. Now the same thing, but you're looking at a solar eclipse. Oh, that's good. That's spot on there. Now, can you just give us the expression when you're looking down, like on the little people you're firing while you're working out how many zeros to add to your own pay bonus? Oh, that's awesome, Elon. I don't know how many hours you practiced in front of the mirrors to knock it out of the park like that, but you did it.
I triage the tasks and try to do the things that are most useful. Or where I'm most needed.
You know, because they're going to be landing on the moon in the first quarter of 2024. And yes, if you check your watches, that is actually in the past now. And thus far, Musk has created a rocket that can take 0 tons, not to the moon, not to orbit, but on a suborbital trajectory, which then spun out of control, entering the atmosphere backwards, or with the engines burning up like that, or just upside down, for instance. And what was SpaceX's edited reaction to all of this? To a literally out-of-control spacecraft re-entering the atmosphere upside down.
Congratulations, guys. You did that. That's insane. I mean, it looks like CGI. It's hard to believe that is unfiltered video. That's just the actual what the camera saw. No filters, no nothing. That's actually what the camera saw, which is insane. You're doing incredible work that I think almost no one thought would actually happen. So it's wild that this.
Yeah, SpaceX has taken 2 out of 3 billion taxpayer dollars for this contract, and their head is hard at work. He has to really triage the task to think what's the best use of his time. But curiously, he didn't threaten to sue the guy making these accusations. You know, like what he was saying was demonstrably false or something. You see, Musk has a habit of filing frivolous, anti-free speech lawsuits. Like against a non-profit that reported that since Musk took over the platform, there'd been a rise in hate speech. And he wanted to sue them 6 ways from Sunday, except the judge said, nope, you are clearly only trying to sue these people to silence their free speech. But most telling out of all of this is when this guy says to Musk, this is now Enron. Musk's response is basically, yeah. Kinda telling, really. Wait now that the Department of Justice and the Security Exchange Commission is looking into Tesla for wire and securities fraud in relation to full self-driving. Yeah, I think he might have had a point. Look, you're allowed a little flamboyance on salesmanship.
What's the difference? Presentation!
But when you're promising 100% return on investment per year for your cyber taxi that is ready now.
So the current cost of Model 3 robotaxi is less than $38,000. We expect that number to improve over time. You say, what would be the probable gross profit from a single robotaxi? We think probably something on the order of $30,000 per year. You say, what is the net present value of a robotaxi? Probably on the order of a couple $100,000.
You might have crossed that line. You know, when you're promising 10 times the return of the largest Ponzi scheme in history, you might have crossed a line. I mean, the claims are legion, where he was claiming in 2020 that full self-driving was worth in excess of $100,000, and that its price would only increase. They then proceeded to cut the price from $15,000 to $12,000, and now to $8,000. Or you can subscribe to it for $100 per month. Still very few takers, as the guy who said he would never settle an unjust case against them settled a full self-driving case where it was claimed that full self-driving killed the driver. This is definitely more like Theranos, you know, beta testing an unsafe product on the public.
Relatively easy, and like a Model S and Model X at this point can drive autonomously with greater safety than a person right now.
It gives me great pleasure to introduce you to the future of law enforcement. Ed 209.
Where glitches can end up in people dying.
I'm sure it's only a glitch, a temporary setback.
You call this a glitch?
Yeah, it's now gotten so bad that the National Highway Transport Safety Association is taking legal steps to get all of the safety data off Tesla, who have been notorious about releasing data that gives a selectively rosy picture. I mean, it's easy to have your full self-driving be responsible for 0 accidents if it disengages 1 second before the crash. And Musk said in 2020 that there hadn't been a single person killed due to full self-driving in the first year of a full self-driving beta. To which Reality Colin said, nope. Yeah, when I said this is like Enron, but run by a clown. Maybe I had the wrong sort of clown in mind. Maybe think more like a trans-dimensional demonic space clown who feeds on fear.
No one wants to play with the clown anymore. Play a game with me, would you?
You just need really good AI. You just need really good intelligence. And you saw like all the extra sensors, all the extra hardware, all the extra cost to get the Waymo to run. Oh.
Tasty, tasty, beautiful fear.
I was a little freaked out right there, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that wasn't good. Holy shit, what's going on here?
Yeah, full self-driving, 99% of the time, it doesn't try to kill you. It just feeds on your fear.
Hiring people.
Holy shit, you just blew through that stoplight?
Yeah. Oh, that wasn't good.
But this is just the Musk Theranos technology that can kill people. In terms of Musk Theranos technology that can't kill people, he's not Theranos. He's serial Theranos. You know, Theranos merely promised a miracle blood testing technology. Musk promises a miracle item like that every week. Musk did it with autopilot, with robo-taxis, with Flint's water, with a cross-country summons, with telepathic brain implants, with tunnels between Washington and New York, rocket technology submarines, rocket thrusters on cars, rocket technology on tunneling machines, rocket technology brakes, rocket technology respirators, rocket technology battery swaps, rocket landings on Mars by 2018, a floating super heavy class of spaceport for Mars, the Moon, and hypersonic travel around the Earth. Solar roof tiles, and now robots. And he's always going to deliver it in a year, maybe a year and 3 months.
If you fast forward a year, just a little, maybe a year and 3 months, but next year for sure, we will have over 1 million robo-taxis on the road.
But if you wanted to prove it was fraud, okay, that's a pretty slam dunk case already. But if you wanted even more evidence that it was fraud, like, say, for instance, if you had the head of Full Self-Driving at the time saying that in 2017, Full Self-Driving could barely keep lane.
Roughly 5 years at Tesla. When I joined, it barely kept lane on the highway. I think going up from Palo Alto to SF was like 3 or 4 interventions. Anytime the road would do anything geometrically or turn too much, it would just like not work.
And at the same time, Musk was saying this.
Or December of this year, we should be able to go from, all the way from a parking lot in California to a parking lot in New York, no controls touched at any point during the entire journey.
Amazing.
But stunningly, that's still not the clearest case of fraud against Tesla. Take a look at the Roadster. They took 1,000 Founder Series orders for $250,000 each. That is, they took in $250 million in 2017 for a car that they said they were making now.
It was the foundation of the whole company. It was the Tesla Roadster. People have asked us for a long time, when are you going to make a new Roadster? We are making it now.
And here we are in 2024, and there is still no sign of the car. I mean, really, is there anywhere where you can just take $250 million off people for a product you claim you're making now and deliver nothing and not get prosecuted for fraud? But it's worse than that. The product that they were promising was just pure vaporware. It couldn't be made then, and it can't be made now. In that the battery that they were promising was what? 200 kilowatt hours.
This is going to have a 200 kilowatt hour battery pack.
So let's see, give or take twice the size of the Cybertruck battery pack, which weighs about 700 kilos. So the battery alone on this thing is going to be about 1.5 tons. About the weight of an SUV. So this small, compact sports car that's going to have amazing acceleration and range and all that sort of thing has to carry the weight of about a Subaru Forester for the battery alone.
606. These numbers sound nutty, but they're real.
No, they're not. These were completely made up stats. Presumably, so Musk could take in $250 million for orders that they would have known the company had zero chance of delivering. You know, because physics. Wire fraud? That's really not like Enron. That's definitely much more like Theranos. So this guy's saying it's Enron. You know, Enron being an energy company that was, for a while, a perfectly respectable energy company. They just found out that it was a damn sight easier to lie about being profitable than actually being a profitable business. Is Tesla lying about being profitable? Well, this guy certainly thinks so. And Musk had no credible comeback to it. But for me, when I smell a rat is when I have clear evidence that the company is being outrageously and deliberately misleading in the figures that it releases. Which at this point is the straight up expectation for any company headed by Musk. Which, if you're going to be honest, have just been one giant string of bullshit claims. At that point, why wouldn't you expect them to lie about the financials as well? So, a simple example. They started delivering the Cybertruck in December of 2023, and about 5 months later, they recalled every single truck that they'd ever made, which turned out to be just under 4,000. So that's a production rate of about less than 1,000 per month. But yet in that same quarter, they had a shareholder call where they claimed that they had reached 1,000 trucks per week.
Thank you. The next question is, what is the progress of Cybertruck ramp?
I can take that one too. Cybertruck hit 1K a week just a couple weeks ago.
So they claim they're putting out 1,000 a week, but still only managed to put out 4,000 in 20 weeks. And that's nothing. In the media that came with the conference call, in big bold letters it says, production capacity of Cybertruck is 125,000 per year. So what, 2,000 a week? Oh, but wait, what's that in the comically hard to read ghost print at the bottom? Installed capacity isn't current production rate. Blah, blah, blah. So why report this in big bold letters if it's basically a useless number? Why not just tell people how many you're actually producing? You know, this seems just kind of deliberately misleading. And for me, if you're going to casually and deliberately mislead your shareholders like that over things that are, in practice, operationally insignificant, like the Cybertruck, I definitely wouldn't trust them on any of their big numbers. This stinks of Enron, fudging your numbers to make things sound better than they are. Which has actually been Musk's modus operandi going all the way back to Zip2, where they would just get a regular computer and put it in a big box so Musk could tell them how this was a super sophisticated computer, a trick which apparently barely fooled the venture capitalists. But this constant fudging of the numbers to make the company seem better than it actually is almost pervasive at Tesla. So if you come to the Tesla website, you'll find that they advertise the price of their models, say $63,000 for a Model X. Apart from that's not actually the price that you would pay. The price that you would pay isn't $63,000, it's $77,000, $78,000. Some $14,000 more expensive than the advertised price. Why? Because there is this weird little checkbox which says include a federal tax credit of $7,500 and an estimated 5-year gas saving of $6,500. So just to be clear how stupid what they're doing here is, what they're doing is saying, well, if you bought a gas car, then you would have had to have paid this much extra in gas over the electricity you put in the Tesla. So we're going to include that in the ticket price. Why 5 years? Why not? I mean, it's just a random number that they basically subtracted off the price of their Tesla to make it sound like it's more competitive. And just put that on their website as their default prices for their cars. But fine, Tesla, if you want to play silly games like this, let's play this game of how much a Tesla will depreciate over a first year versus a stock standard gasoline-powered car like, say, a Honda Civic, which you can get for some $30,000 and will lose about 10% of its value over a year or so.
4 Teslas now. The company has purchased 4 Teslas. And the last Tesla we bought was a Model 3 Performance, which we bought about a year ago. And the plan, even back then, was to trade it in on the Cybertruck.
Yeah.
So we put 16,000 miles on it.
Fine, so let's creatively modify the ticket price of our Honda Civic to include the depreciation you would have suffered if you had actually bought a Tesla over some random period of time, let's say 1 year.
We paid $57,000 for it. How much did Tesla want to give to us on trade?
$31,000.
Yeah, in other words, half the
After a
value.
year.
After a year. Tesla was willing to give us a half the value of the car after a year.
Pretty much.
Which I also found insulting.
So if we factor in the $26,000 depreciation of the Tesla versus the $3K depreciation of the Honda Civic, that's a $23,000 saving. Wow, looks like Civics can advertise themselves for $2,000 and $6,000 respectively if they were as creative in their advertised prices as Tesla.
We ended up selling that car for $36,500 on the open market. So Tesla was, well below the market value of the car.
So essentially, buying a car today is an investment in the future. You're essentially buying a car. You're buying. I think the most profound thing is that if you buy a Tesla today, I believe you are buying an appreciating asset, not a depreciating asset.
So not only have they not delivered the truck, not only were they going to, short us on the value of the Model 3, and not only are they, not delivering what they said they would originally deliver, but now to really add insult to injury, it seems like, they're delivering trucks to people who are, behind us in line as opposed to in front of us in line.
Look, the best evidence that Tesla is finished is the fact that the car company that has pitched itself as a car company for the last 20 years is trying really, really, really hard to convince people that it's not a car company. Even though 90-something% of their revenue comes from selling cars or charging them, with the remaining 5% or so basically being batteries and solar installations for houses. But Elon Musk is so nice in telling us that their financial summaries are unaudited. But really, this not a car company really wants us to believe they're going to train their AI that can't be trusted to drive a car across a car park.
The full self-driving computer, essentially the inference engine on the car, it kind of makes sense to put that onto a humanoid form.
They're going to use that AI and teach it to work in a factory. Wow, a robot in a factory. That's not something that was done like 15 years ago, only much, much, much better. And all of this from a company that built a robot with 2 arms that can only ever use one of them? Actually, I think you'll find that this is because these things are just being driven by people in haptic suits, which is why Tesla's demos to date have been massively staged like this, and there's never been a live demo of the robot actually doing something. Like robotics companies have been doing for over a decade, because guaranteed this thing cannot keep its balance. You push it, and it'll fall over faster than the constipated old man it's mimicking. And it will just roll around helplessly on the floor, incapable of doing anything. The only thing that Tesla's got going for it here is the pareidolia effect. That people see it behaving kind of like a human. Unsurprising, it's being controlled by a person in a haptic suit, but they see that and they think that this therefore must be really advanced robotics. I guarantee you, if this thing ever gets demoed live, it will be the quickest bursting of the bubble ever. But even ignoring that, let's just say it magically all works perfectly somehow. Now all you need is a massive set of training data to train the AI on. So let's see, the car's driving across the car lot, millions of hours of training data wasn't enough. For a car where the controls are simple, faster, slower, left and right. And this is going to be a far more complicated problem than that. So what, 10 people in haptic suits might be able to train this robot in what? A few thousand years? The robots and robo-taxis of 2024 are the million robo-taxis that will be on the road by 2020.
But next year, for sure, we will have over 1 million robo-taxis on the road.
And delivered nothing. The Roadster of 2017.
1,000-kilometer range. This will be the first time an electric vehicle breaks 1,000 kilometers. A production electric vehicle will travel more than 1,000 kilometers in a single charge at highway speed. The point of doing this is to just give the hardcore smackdown to gasoline cars.
And delivered nothing. The Tesla Semi that could beat rail.
We're confident that this is a product that is better in every way from a feature standpoint that wins on economics against diesel trucks in a worst-case scenario, and that defeats rail in a convoy scenario.
Yeah, their truck did precisely none of those things. The fake solar tiles.
So that's what it looked like before. Now that's all solar.
The fake battery swaps from 2012.
But it took 90 seconds for a pack swap. So hopefully this is what convinces people finally that electric cars are the future.
Or the fake supercomputer from 2003. Bernie Madoff ran the largest Ponzi scheme in history for some 20 years and did so with the veneer of the successful, calculating businessman before he ran out of money and the whole thing collapsed. Musk has gone with a different approach of being a clear vaporware salesman for some 20 years in a clown costume. Updated clown costume, inflating the price of his NFTs to stupid levels before cashing out, only to turn around and ask his fans to give him more NFTs to sell them. And his cult aren't just there still drinking the Kool-Aid, they're asking for more. Sooner rather than later, the market will realize that Tesla isn't a tech company. It's a tech fantasy company, which my finance friends assure me is significantly less valuable. So how does this end, with Musk firing his remaining employees with his infamous, heartfelt Dear Employee email from an underground bunker, blaming them for not being hardcore enough to fulfill his vision, and then just declare victory and bankruptcy? It's gonna be interesting to see how his greatest fans rationalize the fall of Techno Ponzi Rocket Jesus when the financial disaster he's caused is bigger than Enron and Bernie Madoff combined. And that's today's video. If you enjoyed these rather in-depth, well-researched videos, feel free to drop a thumbs up on it, or if you really like them, you can support this channel directly through Patreon. Because honestly, at this point, I think Musk's just going to be lucky if he merely goes bankrupt and follows the illustrious steps of billionaire unicorn entrepreneurs like Elizabeth Holmes, Sam Bankman-Fried, and Trevor Milton to spend, the best part of a decade in jail. And if he's unlucky, it'll be more like Bernie Madoff, where he's going to spend the best part of a century and a half in prison.
What I can say is we're going to move to just truly massive scale. Scale that no company has ever achieved in the history of humanity.